Hi, I'm Cindy Alvarez, and I will be discussing the racial discrimination that occurred in the United States in the 1920s. The United States is this country that is brought together through a bunch of immigrants from Europe, Asia, Africa, Native Americans. But during the 1920s, there was this racial tension that occurred when the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant felt that the Catholic and the Jewish immigration that was coming to America was threatening their race all in together. And basically during this time, there was this political acceptance of this racial discrimination. It was okay among society and politically. For example, we had the Ku Klux Klan group that became pretty powerful during the 1920s to 1927, and we would see cases how presidents were known to be part of the Ku Klux Klan, such as Harding and Coolidge. Even Coolidge said, quote unquote, America should be kept American, which is basically this white supremacy belief that these Ku Klux Klan members had during this time. Basically, they felt that these Catholics in Germany, these non-Protestant people, were lowering the American race altogether. There would be these anti-immigration organizations being brought back to the United States during this time. They started making immigration restrictions in the United States by, for example, the Immigration Act on 1921 by allowing just 150 people come to migrate to the United States, basically lowering the percentage of people coming to America. In addition, people will read books by these well-known social Darwinists, such as Mr. Grant. Mr. Grant wrote the Passing of the Great Race, and basically in that book, he agreed with this migration restriction and how these other races that were non-Protestant, non-white were basically worthless and they shouldn't even exist, that why bother basically. And you would have people accepting this politically by allowing, for example, the Ku Klux Klan parade across the Pennsylvania Boulevard in Washington, D.C. You would have these 40,000 members going white power, and yet there was no backfire. They were not penalized. There were court cases such as Sacco and Vanzetti that were these Italian Americans that were tried in court, and with basically no proof at all to convict them, they were put into death. And this occurred because of this racial discrimination acceptance. In addition to that, we had the words, these racial terms come across during these years, which is also heard during these days today. For example, you have Spigs, Negroes, which was used during the Civil War, but it came back during this time, and niggers, also Chinks. These white Anglos were very unaccepted of these other religions, these Catholics, these Jewish. In addition, there was a league in the anti-immigration organization that basically said that these Southeastern European nations, that race was genetically and racially inferior than the Americans. And basically, they did not want to have this inferiority race come to America and lower the standard in the American society. In addition, because of this, racism that occurred in the United States in the 1920s, you will see that it did not end there, and you still see this immigration occur today. We have immigration restrictions occurring right now, maybe not for the same reasons, but the job situation was also a problem. Mexicans, everyone under the American white supremacy would do the jobs that the white supremacy would not do. And we see these problems today. So these racial discriminations that occur very obviously in the 1920s, it's somewhat still alive today, and racial discrimination has yet to end, but during this period in time was when it was mostly opened and accepted in the United States.